Hey everyone, after all this time, I am still feeding my dogs raw food, and I've been getting some messages on Instagram asking to show what I'm feeding currently, so let's do exactly that. I have some defrosted turkey. This is ground turkey necks. The bone and the muscle meat, the skin was taken off. And then this is carrots and oats. The carrots and oats are boiled. I boiled the carrots and then I mashed them with a potato masher. You could do it with your hands when they're cooled down. And then I add like one part oats to 3 parts carrots. And then looking back, I did not plan this very well. I should not have planted kale with pumpkins because pumpkins are pretty spiky, and I have to go dig in between them to get the kale. So I'm gonna pick some kale to put into my dog's food. And it is important. I find that when I don't add greens, I have done it. Sometimes I've been a little bit lazy if I added a bunch of stuff or didn't have greens. If I don't add greens, my dogs will start eating like grass, like these pieces of grass, and then half the time they'll barf them out, which is disgusting. I hate cleaning barf. And sometimes they will poop and a little piece of grass will be stuck at the end. You literally have to pull it out. It's so awful. So I find that when I add greens to my dog's food, they don't eat grass, and that just makes my life easier. Plus the green things, they have vitamins and minerals in them, fiber, just all the phytonutrients. Like, plants are really important to eat, and in the wild, dogs would eat, you know, things they find outside, grass, whatever. They would eat the contents of the stomach. So like when they kill an animal, they eat the stomach of the animal along with all of the stuff that the animal ate. So like if they ate like a rabbit, for example, then they would eat the stomach, and inside the stomach is all this green stuff and partially digested, but you know, all the grass, roots, leaves, whatever the rabbit ate, the dogs would eat too. So I feel that it is very important to add greens into their food, and I like to grow my own, so we're gonna pick the ones that grew here. I just want to enter a kale growing contest. Like, look at these things. They're gigantic. So you could chop this up if you wanted to, but you could blend it too, but I'm just going to use a food processor. That's what I have. So I'm going to pack it down as much as I can. It does not do a perfect job, but I don't know. In my opinion, it's definitely better than grinding or chop. Just kidding, the food processor was horrible, so I'm gonna try a blender, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna need some water. So we'll see how this goes. Nice. I am going to add some frozen berries to this, just for more antioxidants for the pups. It does make this look happy. I wanted to do a good thing by adding the berries because they're so healthy, but when red and green mixes together, it turns brown, so I literally ruined it. It looks like poop now. Those still eat it though. It's all good. Like it's good stuff. I am, however, separating half of this into a Ziploc baggie and freezing it for the next time because this is too much for the amount of meat that I'm mixing into. I do have 10 pounds of meat, about 2 pounds of carrots, and I want to have maybe like a maximum of 2 pounds of greens. So there's definitely more than that, and I'm just gonna split it in half. I have separated half of it because that was too much for one time. I have about 10 pounds of turkey in here, or exactly 10 pounds, and about 2 pounds of carrot and oat mixture. And I'm just gonna mix it all up now. Pretty much ready. They're ready to plate. About this much for a 25-pound dog, about 1.5 pounds, or 2% or so, or actually that's 1% of their body weight. They do get more than this. They get snacks and whatnot. So. Obviously, I'm not measuring anything at all. It's just, I go by how their body looks. So if they're starting to go a little pudgy, I will reduce their portion size. If they're looking really thin in their waist, I will add more food. And my girls look pretty great, so. The extra half of the greens mixture is going into the freezer. And then the rest of the defrosted meat, greens, carrot, and oats are gonna go into the fridge. It'll be there for 2 to 3 days. It's just about enough food to feed my dogs for 2 to 3 days, and it will not go rancid as long as it's in the fridge. It's totally fine. If anytime my girls don't finish all of their portion at once, I will place it back into the fridge like within 20 minutes. My understanding is that bacterial populations double about every 20 minutes at room temperature, and so you really don't want it to sit out at room temperature for too long. That being said, I do defrost my meat in my sink overnight. It's still cold to the touch when I wake up in the morning, and a lot of times the center is actually still frozen solid, so I really have to work it with my hands to kind of break it up and mix it all the way through. All of that being said, I have literally never had a time where my dogs had food poisoning. They've never been hospitalized for diarrhea or barfing or anything like that. This is the most biologically appropriate food. In fact, I did feed kibble in the past, and since switching, my dogs have more energy. They poop less. The poop is easier to pick up. It's harder. It doesn't smell as much. And puppies especially, like anyone that has raised a litter of French bulldog puppies on kibble know how bad their poop smells. But on raw, it really doesn't smell that bad. It just, I mean, it smells bad, obviously, but it's not like sour, nasty, like slap you in the face kind of smell. They have really clean teeth. Their breath is fresher. I don't have to bathe them for smelliness actually at all. The only time I bathe my dogs is if they're physically like covered in dust. We do live on a farm, so they are frequently covered in dust, and I bathe them for those reasons, but not because they smell bad or that they smell like dogs. And I think that's amazing because I had a Boston Terrier growing up, and she was on kibble and she would constantly stink. I would bathe her almost once a week. And looking back now, that's way too much for a dog. So if your dog is stinky in 1 week, there's more going on. There's the problem. Dogs are really not supposed to be bathed at all. I mean, unless they jump in a river, like in nature, they would not be getting bathed with soap. They wouldn't be stinky like that. They wouldn't have poop crusted on their butts, requiring them to be bathed and things like that. So it really has changed their lives, and it's cut down on a lot of like the crappiest parts of owning dogs, like picking up mushy poop is literally the worst, and you don't have to do that on a raw diet because they just digest it so well. Hungry? Nope, sit. Good girls. Pikachu, good girl. Fluffy butt. Good girl. Yum. Let's eat. Yes, my sweet girl. I love you so much. Fast. Pikachu eats quickly too. And then Fluffy Butt and Goldie take their time. Good girls. Cleaned him out, huh? Good girl.